Welcome back to the Culture of Currency, where today we are tackling the might of Asian silver, which is absolutely gorgeous. By the way, if you want one of these fancy cases, 15% off if you use the coupon code Culture1 at checkout there at SafePub. So, beautiful. I love mine. But just, if you're thinking about getting into some storage for your silver, check them out because they have some steep discounts they've offered me and my viewers. So, thank you. Now we get to Asia. I will say right out the front that I need to really spend some intentionality in buying this next year because I've only got a handful of Asian coins, and they are some of the most beautiful coins in my collection, and yet they are underrepresented. And so I've got to be more intentional about trying to get into Asian coins. And I've got to be careful because, for example, this right here, if I can zoom in, you might think right off the bat, oh, beautiful. That's classic Chinese art. This is obviously an Asian silver bullion coin. Well, it is a bullion coin. It is silver, but in fact, it's not Asian, though this is traditional Asian art. I actually found that on some imperial China. I believe it was a dish, a plate, or something like that. But it is actually African. Yes, this is from Cameroon, so we've got to be careful out there, okay? So the first one we're going to get is the real thing. This is probably the most iconic of the Asian silver. I know we all have our own thoughts on China right now, but this is the panda. This is a 2016 variety, and fun fact, I didn't want to go out and buy a panda myself and support Chinese government, so a viewer said, you know what, I get it. I'll send you one so you don't have to do it yourself. So thank you so much for the anonymous viewer who decided to send me one of these. I know who you are, and I say thank you for your friendship and thinking that I was worthy of such a gift. But yes, this is a 2016 panda. Beautiful right there. I know you can't see it because we have this in the capsule, but on the rim, instead of having reading that normally just goes north-south, this reading is on a 45-degree axis, which is really cool, and one of the things you can look to see if your panda is real. But look at there, the panda, one of the most iconic. The artwork does change every single year. The only downside to the panda is going to be mintage. They mint so many of these dang things because it's really the only one issued, to my knowledge, on a mass scale by the Communist China Party, the CCP. And this is actually through their national bank. Now, they do have other coins like dragons and things like that, but this is their mainstay for sure. Next, we go to a neighboring nation, one of the coolest lunar series you will find, and honestly, in my opinion, one of the most important. This is the nation of Bhutan. The reason it is most important to me and the nation is that this is a very traditional country. In fact, if you were to go visit, you'd have to have somebody usher you around because they have a whole division in their government to make sure they keep their history alive and they don't want it to be tampered with. So very traditional culture here, and one that is definitely worth checking out. And this is their lunar series. So this is Year of the Rabbit, and you will see an interesting traditional design. And this is what we call paper cutting. In fact, what we would have is this type of a template, and they would cut out with colored paper, usually reds and yellows and whites, all over the place. Little designs like this, and hang them all over the cities and the villages and stuff like that. And so when I think about a lunar series and it actually being traditional and important to a people, it's hard to argue that Bhutan should not be on top of that list because this is the, in my mind, most traditional country in Asia today. And the lunar series, the lunar cycle, is the most important holiday in that nation. And it's the hugest thing there is. And this series features traditional paper cut art, which is found still today all over this land. So in my mind, this is one of the coolest lunar series to get. Plus, it is just beautiful. Love Bhutan. Next, we're going to Laos, Southeast Asia. This is over there by Thailand. Singapore, that area. We see the beautiful building right there. I have a video over all of these coins, by the way, that goes over the history, culture, significance, you name it. So if you see one you really like, make sure you go check it out. Right here we have Panthera tigris, which is the nomenclature, the genus and species of the tiger. And in particular here, this is the tigers that were native to this area of Asia that were hunted basically out of the area, and now there's an attempt to bring it out. So you'll see a theme on some of these coins where they're uniting to try to bring back their megafauna like the tiger. It's a beautiful coin. This is a series where the artwork changes every year as well. That's Laos. Next we have Cambodia. Beautiful obverse here, one of their historic religious sites, very old, very ornate. We cover it in the video. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is pretty close to Laos there on the map in Vietnam. In fact, both of these countries have giant impacts that they're still, in some ways, dealing with from the Vietnam War, especially Laos, who still has landmines everywhere. In fact, it has the #1 amputation per capita in the world because of all the landmines that are still laying out in the wilderness. Here we are, the lost tigers of Cambodia. This is another attempt to bring back the native megafauna like the tiger to the area. So we see a theme here. Beautiful tiger. I know we think, India and maybe even up towards, the northern parts of Asia for Siberian tigers. But yes, tigers actually were all the way through China up to Korea at one point. Probably even further, but that's all that I've researched. Gorgeous. And now, speaking of Korea, probably my favorite mint in all of Asia, if not the world, it's definitely one of the best in the world, is the Comsco, the Korean mint. Check out this. So this is the phoenix. We go over the history and the cultural significance of the phoenix in the video we did over this coin. Comsco mint is the highest quality, I think, other than maybe Pressburg, that I've ever seen. Look at that. Gorgeous bird. The security feature here, I believe they were the first ones that I had ever seen that did this. But basically there's two symbols that change as the direction of the light is altered. I don't know how well it's coming up on camera, but there are two different versions that you can see based on where you're looking. This is the first edition of their Phoenix that does change on occasion. It is gorgeous, definitely worth your time. And one of the highest ranking coins we've ever graded, the clay, right here. This is, I guess, technically a medallion because this isn't their standard currency. It is a clay. It's not necessarily part of their currency system. So I'm not really sure. Maybe it's in a shade of gray or a shade of silver in this point. But yeah, this is just gorgeous ornamentation here. We go over the symbology you see. And you notice in the background, even that is such an iconic texture. It is, I can't even explain it, but it is completely different than anything I have ever seen. Every single piece of this has its own little fingerprint of identity. Just outstanding. You want to know what a perfect coin looks like? This is about as close as I've ever seen. So this is a Chi Wu, which they have a series. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I forget just how gorgeous. Look at the clouds. Just sit there and stare at it. Okay, so basically they have a series of warriors, ancient warriors that are folklore within their particular realm. This is the Chiwu Qiangwang, and he is one of those. Obviously, you see this carry over on the back. That is a protectorate. We go over it in the video a little bit. So if you want to know more about that, then definitely do. But this is a coin that changes artwork every single year. There's many series that they do every single year with the different characters within their founding. This being probably the more popular one. But there's even girls and things like that that are warriors that have had beautiful artwork. So those are my Asian coins. Sorry, I don't have a lot of them. For some reason, I only have 6, and I'm not happy about that either. I have tons of world coins from all habitations around the world, and for some reason, Asia is just the one that I'm having the hardest time getting a hands on. So APMEX, maybe you need to step up your Asian persuasion. I don't know, but I've got to get my hands on more of this stuff. So that's what we have. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Hopefully you saw something you liked. Hopefully you will go watch a video over the ones you like to learn more about them if you have them. But either way, remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.